running out my life, who are you chasing? Yeah. I'm 33 now just to give you a glimpse. Life without you, I've been blessed ever since, but there's...
My name is Trachelle Trish. I am 27 years old. I have 3 kids, a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 2-month-old. And my profession is a stay-at-home mom / upcoming entrepreneur. My mom got pregnant at a young age. She was 16, and I think my dad was like 18. They both met in high school, Monterey Bay Academy, and they were together. They obviously had me, and she was pregnant with me, and they got married, and they were staying at my grandmother on my dad's side's house, and then eventually they moved to, Lord have mercy, I get the story mixed up, but okay, okay, so, because it's a long story.
Complex.
Yeah, it's very complex, like, it's so complex. Okay, so they were together, she was pregnant with me, she had me, they were staying at my grandmother's house, and I guess they ended up moving out. He ended up going to the Air Force in North Dakota, and my mom was taking care of me, or whatever. She was just very young, and I guess she couldn't handle the stress of being a mom. I guess that's what I would assume. The story is basically, I guess my dad was in North Dakota, and my mom had me. She ended up leaving him, and she had me, and she was at a hotel about to commit suicide. My grandmother found me. I guess one of my mom's friends told my grandma where I was, and my grandma came and got me, and my mom basically gave me to my grandmother. And so I was with my grandmother. I guess my mom and my dad ended up working it out. She went back to North Dakota, and I went back with them. And then she left again. She was like constantly like leaving. And then my grandmother ended up moving to Georgia. And my mom left my dad again. My dad couldn't really take care of me because, he was in the Air Force, he would have to work long shifts and whatnot. So he just really couldn't take care of me. He ended up sending me to my grandmother. And so she took care of me. Eventually he got out of the Air Force, and he came down to Georgia too as well. And then again, my mom they worked something out. She came down to Georgia, and I was 3 at the time, and she was there for some time. And then one day she was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And my grandma was just like, if you're gonna leave, you need to leave during the nighttime so your daughter doesn't see you like leaving out. So like she literally like, I guess, left that night, and I have not seen her ever since. And so it's just always been my grandmother. My dad was there too, but he was like in and out. He didn't have himself together. He never like finished. At that time he didn't complete college or anything. So he was young too. He didn't have himself together. He didn't like being in Georgia, but it's like Georgia has nothing to do. Wherever my child is where I'm gonna be. But he felt like he had a better chance of getting himself together in California. So he was always back and forth from California. And it's just always been my grandmother raising me, like, ever since. I would remember my dad would come and then he would stay for some time and then he would leave and I would cry. And, you know, that hurt my feelings. Also, sometimes I got to a certain age where I would ask my grandma, like, can we find my mom? Like, I want to, talk to her and ask her why she left me. And so, back then we didn't have Google, we didn't have, like, the internet. So, like, back in the day, you would have to literally call and talk to the operator and, hey, this is the name I'm looking for. Like, can you give me all the numbers for that? And, like, we would call until we found her. And, like, we did find her, like, one time. I think I was 8. And, she picked up the phone and I was just like, hey, yeah, this is your daughter or whatever. And it's like she was excited to, talk to me. But then I asked her, I was just like, why did you leave me? And, she started crying. And she was just like, I'm sorry, like, I couldn't do it. And so it's very hard to keep in touch with her because I called her again and, like, it's like not a dial tone, but back in the day how, like, if a number was disconnected or yeah. So but she was always running away basically because even her own mother couldn't get in touch with her. Like, she would hire, like, private investigators to, like, find her. She was okay, but she was just always running. So I guess she just basically had problems, I'm assuming. But I mean, being a mother myself, like, I just know that I could never do that to my child. And then, like, as far as my dad, like, even him coming in and out of my life, like, it would make me sad. Like, I remember the last time I literally cried when he left was, like, when I was 10. Like, he was leaving to go back to California. And I cried and I was just like, Daddy, like, please don't go. And I mean, he was basically like, I gotta go. I don't want to leave you, but, like, I have to go get myself together. But, and so that was the last time I cried as far as, like, him leaving me. Because it's like, what is the purpose of me crying? Like, what is this? He's gonna still, like, keep doing what he's doing. So it's no point of me crying anymore. So, like, after that, he would still come and go, and, like, it's like it doesn't faze me anymore. And then as far as my mom, like, I stopped trying to get in contact with her. At a certain age, I didn't really care. Like, it's like, maybe if it was, like, my dad raising me and I didn't have a mother figure at all, then, it would bother me. But it doesn't bother me because I have my grandmother. But I do know, like, as a child, like, I don't know if y'all remember, or, like, when your kids were younger, the Rugrats in Paris movie. At the beginning, when it's the wedding and it was the children's dance, when Chucky didn't have a mom to dance with, like, that scene would, like, make me cry because I resonated with Chucky that he didn't have a mom to dance with, and like, it would bother me. Or, like, even when I was 10, like, that song by John Mayer, Mothers Be Good to Your Daughters and Fathers Be Good to Your Daughters, like, when I would listen to that song or I would hear that song, like, it would bother me. And it was just, I felt abandoned. I mean, I don't suppress my feelings, but as I grew older, it's like, it happened, and that's just what it is. So it's no point of dwelling on what happened in the past because there's literally nothing that you can do about it. And, like, if I'm gonna dwell on it, that's just gonna hurt me. That's gonna, like, hold me back. You know what I mean? Thank you. So, I have a friend, her name is Alex, and she is like amazed at like how it doesn't bother me, but it's like there's no point of me like letting it get to me. Like I forgive them. Like I found my mom on Facebook. Like we talked, and she said she was sorry again, and I was just like, I forgive you, and I love you. Like it's. I understand that you were young, but like even with your song, like no excuses. Like there's literally no excuse because I'm a mom. Now, if I didn't have kids, then I wouldn't really know. But because I have kids, and I just know that I would never leave them. I don't care. Like I was young too. Maybe not. I'm not 16, but like I was like 19, going on 20, and that's still young to be having kids. But it's like, you know, that's a whole life, a whole responsibility, and it's like you can't just leave them out there, like, and I just would never do that. And then as far as like my dad, like, I understand you went out to go get yourself together, and it took so long for you to get yourself together. He did finally get himself together. He went to aviation school and got a degree for that, and he is a mechanic on planes. So he finally has himself together, but it's like, I just feel like, you know, at a certain point of time, you could have, like, got me. But I guess his excuse is that, you know, he didn't want me living a type of life that I guess was not
stable.
Yeah, stable. And I try to understand that, but even with going back and forth to state, like, I'm gonna be wherever my child is. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna find a way. People find ways all the time. There's always a way. Like, you may not like how whatever the employment is in Georgia, but it's like, it's basically whatever it takes for you to be with your child, you know? Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Now it's just it doesn't bother me. I don't feel any hurt because I just understand that they just weren't responsible. You know, some people just aren't meant to have kids, and I just believe that maybe that they were just not the type to have kids, that like they shouldn't have had kids. But they had me. Thank God that I'm here. Like, I'm glad that I'm here, but it's like, my grandma was like all that I knew. 26 years, like, nonstop, like, taking care of me, being there for me, taking me to school, taking care of me when I'm sick. Like, she's basically my mother and my father. And she just died in June. And so it's like, I have family, but it's like, I feel alone. Like, even though I have my kids, I have my significant other, and my dad is still here, I still feel alone. I mean, I have aunts and uncles that call me, but I still feel alone because I've been with her this whole entire time. I've been taking care of her while she was elderly, and it's like, now that she's not here, like, it's very hard because people are like, oh yeah, I lost my grandma too. Like, yeah, I know, I feel sympathy for that. It's hard losing a grandmother, but like, she was basically my parent. So it's even harder, like, when you're losing a parent. But as far as like how I take care of my kids, like, I just know that I don't want that. I don't want that for them. So I tried, my significant other and me personally, like, we're the opposite of what my mom and dad were. And I'm so grateful and happy that I can, you know, be there for my kids and be in my kids' lives. And that's it.